One, two, three. Happy That was perfect, guys. Now everybody go home. Holiday extravaganza / surprise farewell for Miss Linda Cleek. First, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Mark Bernhard for being our gracious host. Awesome day. Thank you, Mark. And now, I'd like to ask our honored guest, Miss Linda Elsie Cleek. Well, can you just switch chairs, please? You have to sit in the throne. We put a lot of effort into that throne.
And I have to tell you, my wine glass is almost empty. I don't know.
Any refill on aisle 1? Refill?
Sauvignon Blanc.
All right, Linda. Now, you are without a doubt the backbone of O&E. You make each and every one of us a priority every day when we come barging in your office. You spoil us with treats, and you make us laugh daily. So we started asking ourselves, how are we going to tell this woman how much we love and will miss her? And then a light went off. Let's roast her ass. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to start the roast of Miss Linda L.C. Cleek. We have a few things for you to don while you're being roasted. We want you to feel like a princess while we bring you down.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
And you have to I don't know how to
Isn't she beautiful, folks?
Wonder Woman.
Well, we all know Linda from different places and different times. Me, I met Linda just shy of 2 years ago when I joined Outreach and Engagement. Linda quickly became one of my favorite people. Not only does she know everything and everyone, but I swear she has the best damn candy jar on campus. You know that's where I'm hanging out, right? No, but seriously, Linda, it boggles the mind how you were able to do so much in one day. Can you not see in your glasses?
They're making me a little dizzy. Don't worry about it.
It's not the best.
Linda, it boggles the mind how you're able to do so much in one day. Reviewing budgets, managing programs, keeping Mark in line. And still you managed to find the time to order 40 purses, 16 pairs of shoes, 37 car chargers, and even download the newest Nicki Minaj track. How do you do it? No. We all know Linda loves to shop, but I doubt most of you know the extent of it. For example, did any of you know that she has a secret closet full of merchandise? I've seen it from a distance, but I've heard rumors that if you go in far enough, you're going to find the door to Narnia and possibly the Holy Grail. She also has 3 storage units, a U-Haul truck, and a secret bunker full of Amazon boxes, but that's Brandy's problem. So let's go ahead and bring up our first roaster. We know him as the funniest man on campus, but that's because we all get paid to laugh at his jokes. Mr. Mark Bernhard.
You got me. Linda. All right, so I've seen the lineup for tonight, so I am, strategically, Stephanie knew that A, I was, you'll be surprised, the last one to write my remarks, and B, maybe even though I might be the funniest person on campus, I've seen the lineup, and I'm the warm-up act.
Springsteen doesn't have a warm-up act.
Thank you. So, we are here tonight to roast Linda Cleek. She may be our Executive Director of Lifelong Learning, but by her own suggestion, she would proudly answer to Prime Minister, Hand of the King, Lieutenant Associate Provost, Vice Associate Provost, Chocolate Meister, Oracle, and of course, Gadget Girl. Not only am I going to miss you, Linda, but my computer, my printer, my iPad, my iPhone, my hotspot, and any other technology in our office, including Microsoft Outlook, are going to miss you very, very much. You see, I have a knack of screwing up my devices. But I'll tell you on at least a dozen occasions, this woman has entered my office, stood by the devices, has not even touched the devices, and they start working again. It's as if the technology fears her, or maybe it loves you. I'm telling you, Linda, my poor computer and printer, I fear they're going to be doomed without you.
They're going out the window.
So it's a good thing. One thing that I did not know about you until recently is that of all the gadgets that you have, it was until maybe 2 weeks ago that you actually took up texting. So it's a good thing you've taken up texting, because if I have technical problems, I hope that your powers can work over text. Otherwise, I might need to convince you to visit campus and cast a healing spell. Now, I'm going to miss Linda's witty emails, such as the time she said, "Call the fire department. That smoke you hear is Louisville, and my bracket from the March Madness going up in flames." And I'll miss the interesting news story she sends me, like the one where the vet finds 8 pairs of underwear and 62 hair bands inside a dog. Or even today, with the escapades that were going on at the Diamond Avenue Bank. I'm going to miss trying to have a meeting at 11 a.m. and being told it's lunchtime. I'll miss trying to ask a question and find out she's playing bridge. I'll really miss trying to remember her pirate name on Talk Like a Pirate Day, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Carrie the Balloon Devil Jameson. At least what came up. Maybe you didn't see that, but that's what came up last night in my research. The Bloody Hand of Wenstolf. I'll really miss your bowl of chocolates. Those scrumptious purple wrapped dark chocolate candies. We'll make sure we have those. How will I ever make it through the day without my face plastered on a new Jib Jab video of last night's Disco Inferno doll, on an elf, or on the cone inside a seal? Linda, you sure have made our work environment a fun one, and we will strive to maintain both the fun while we continue to build on the foundation of excellence you helped build over the last 41 years. Thanks for everything. May you, Randy, Taz, Mojo, your camper, have happy trails, and may you enjoy our fun tribute to you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome job, Mark. All right, let's keep this party going with the talented Miss Leanne Schafer. Now, Linda, I want you to prepare yourself. The last person that tried to leave O&E had to physically pull herself out of Leanne's grips. She is spry, and she is stronger than she looks. You have been warned.
All right. Well, I had the great pleasure of meeting Linda Cleek in 2003 when I was desperately seeking employment, and found that University of Southern Indiana had an opening for someone to work with adult students. So that's my role, and I work with adult learners, if some of you don't know me. And many times those adult learners are people that have been, their education's been interrupted. They've had to take a class here, take a class there, struggle to pay for it, struggle to get the time, et cetera, et cetera. So you get the idea. Some of these adults, they just don't feel like they're ever going to finish and graduate from college. So many of them, and this is a conversation we had when we get together, you saw a couple of pictures here where Linda joins me, Mark joins me, and we have a little photograph session at graduation with our graduates in their caps and gowns. So we have a conversation during that photo session that says this. Someday, I come to a graduate and I'll say, someday in the near future, you are going to wake up from a terrible dream in the middle of the night, and your dream will be that you didn't really graduate. Everybody's had that dream. How many of you have had that dream? You wake up and you think, I missed the final. There was a class that I enrolled in and I never finished. I didn't really graduate. So, sometimes that happens, and I am the one that says, look, you've been to graduation, you've had the cap and gown, you've had the ceremony, you've had the celebration, you've had the party. So guess what? You still have something else you need to do before you graduate. So this is my job. This is what I have to do sometimes. And this is very disappointing and very bad news for the students that I have to communicate this unfortunate news to. So Linda, I was reviewing your records. Very carefully, at the very last of the graduation process.
Graduation checkout.
There's that graduation checkout. And often, unfortunately, there's that little glitch that we discover in that final checkout. So I have something to share with you that you might not want to hear. And I put it in the form of a letter because, of course, we do these things in writing to make sure that everything is done properly. So, dear Ms. Cleek, preparing your application for retirement, I have reviewed your employment records and must inform you of an issue regarding your employment contract for the academic year 1985-86. I'm very careful. And believe me, in my student work, I have seen many, many transcripts from 1985 and 1986. Ms. Cleek, it appears to me that you did not meet the terms of your contract that year. And unfortunately, this will cancel your retirement plans. Very sad. As you may recall, your annual contract included a stipulation that you must enroll and, underlined in bold, complete at least one lifelong learning course each year to remain employed with the University of Southern Indiana. In reviewing your records, I found that you enrolled in a non-credit continuing education course entitled Singing for Success. Your enrollment records are attached to this note. However, I do not find any proof that you actually completed the course. So, due to this unfortunate oversight, I am requesting that you produce evidence that you meet the minimum requirements for completing this course. And these include singing a song with a group that is humorous and or informative, and singing a song either in a solo or group that is that can promote a cause or a product. If you are able to provide documentation demonstrating these two course outcomes, right? This is learning, course outcomes, for the Singing for Success course, I can consider reinstating your retirement. Sincerely yours, Leanne Schafer. Now, I'm sorry, but I have to inform you of this. Randy is in shock. He is in shock. He is in shock that his wife ever enrolled in the singing class. And he's probably in greater shock that she didn't complete something that she started. So, going back to your memory, Linda, do you remember this course?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think you could demonstrate for us those two course outcomes?
Two outcomes.
Two outcomes. One of them is and you'll get a chance to do one of them later, as I recall. The singing a song with a group that is humorous and informative, that might come later. But I would just recall that early on, recall an incident where I feel like you could probably reproduce this pretty easily. We were recruited, many of us remember being recruited to work at the West Side Improvement Association's Fall Festival Spud booth. How many of us remember being recruited to do that? Oh yeah, some of the old timers, okay. Yeah, I'm an old timer, I guess. So I recall hearing you sing quite a bit during that shift that I worked, selling spuds. Well, you can give that some thought. We'll give you a little time to think about it. All right. We can get back to this if you want to, unless something comes to mind.
I don't remember singing to Spuds.
You ever think?
Maybe it was Suds.
You sure it wasn't studs? Studs. Okay. Well, anyway, I have a memory of that, but what I do recall is that with great enthusiasm, Linda was leading the charge in making sure that people on West Franklin Street, knew that we had spuds for sale. And she was very enthusiastic, sharing that we had the best spuds on the street. So I'm not sure you remember that. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, we'll see. But if you are able to produce that documentation demonstrating those competencies, we'd be glad to reinstate your return. All right.
Can you give me a clue what song I was singing about Spuds?
Well, it wasn't a full song. It was more like just sort of spuds for sale. We got hot spuds, something like that. Just kind of an ad-lib. Yeah, it's an ad-lib. Yeah. It wasn't like a just do the double.
That's a poem, not a song. But I can do it. Alabama. If somebody will hum in the background. If you can hum any song you like, they don't all have to be the same. So, when I do this, start humming. Okay. Bread and cheese. Recipe for gut disease.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our multi-talented, humorous, and wonderful lifelong learner, Linda Cleek.
Well done, Leanne. Well, Linda, looks like you're not going anywhere. It's cool. All the cool kids end up super seniors. And now, to convey his sheer gratitude for the all-knowing Cleekmeister, we have the self-proclaimed legend himself, Mr. Michael Thissen.
I'm here always. My name is Linda Cleek. And I am older than dirt. You've heard that one before, right? So, I've been struggling. My name is Mike Thissen, and I was a spry 150 pounds before I got to O&E. Until I got to Linda's chocolate. It's the best chocolate in the world. And we share some common bonds. We share chocolate. We also share a love for music. And so I was thinking music, because there's always a song, and whenever I walk in, we tend to think of a lot of songs that are, I don't know, obscure or something that we kind of educate Dr. Bernhard on, because what's the only thing he has?
Bruce!
Everyone, right. Okay, so, but through a little investigation, I found that you and I have a love for a certain individual. And to quote Bill Murray, there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who love Neil Diamond, and those who hate. And so, out of sheer love and sheer embarrassment to me, I want to transform myself into Neil Diamond in the 70s to satisfy the other requirement that we sing as a group. Originally, I was singing Forever in Blue Jeans, right? But then there's that part about the fire, you and I think Randy might. And human resources might, are we ready for that? Okay, hang on. So what I need to do is kind of transform myself in a minute, but if you want to start the... Here we go. Ready? There it began.
Yeah.
I think it was 1973 or 74. But all I know is that I was only 4. Was it in spring? And many more. Springs became many, many summers. Who'd have believed you've touched a lot of people? All right, everybody, I need participation. Now, ready? Hands. Touching hands. Outreaching. And engaging. Sweet Linda Cleek. Good times never seem so good.
So good, so good, so good.
Yeah, here we go. Sweet. Talk without the words. There we go. Now I'm back on track. They never would. Oh, no. Okay, now you ready for singing? Look at the night. It's romantic. And it don't seem so lonely. We know we're going to be lonely without you. And when I hurt, this is going to hurt big time. How can I hurt? I'm holding you. In my thoughts, Randy. Warm. Touching warm. Reaching out. Touching me. Touching you. Sweet Linda Cleek. Good times never seem so good.
So good, so good, so good.
Sweet Linda Cleek. To believe they never would. Oh, no. See, now there's this coda, so do you have anything to say for yourself?
It's the dance break. Let's move.
Here we go, ready? Here we go. Sweet Linda Cleek. Good times never seem so good.
So good, so good, so good.
Sweet Linda Cleek. To believe they never would.
Don't forget to tip your comedian.
Oh, excellent work, Mr. Thissen.
I gotta go drink now.
Well, after that, I think we all need a big glass of some red wine.
I like the reggae version.
You keep me all the time. Okay, our next speaker is a legend in her own right. From the cow eyes rolling around her car floor to the day she forgot to put her clothes on before coming to work. Her Ramsden has left her own mark on Oni, so let's bring her up and see what she's got. You didn't know those stories still existed, did you?
It was just my pants.
You were wearing just your pants or you forgot your pants?
No, I stopped on the way out to iron my pants and just forgot to put them back on.
It's when you took them off the iron.
Yeah, when I took my raincoat off, I'm glad I was in my office alone. I left immediately. So I'm not going to sing, but I am going to join Mike back there as soon as this is done. Linda, we worked, during the 25 years that we worked together, we very seldom worked right side by side on projects together. But there were a few times that we did, and of those times, two stand out in memory. One super, super good time, and one super, super bad time. So the bad time was in the 90s at the Rope Walk Conference in New Harmony. You asked me to come up one evening and help with some of the logistics, and I was a little fearful of being around all of those writers and important people. And I got there only to find you caring for a bunch of very, very ill people. A flu plague had hit Rope Walk, and as she always does, Linda switched hats, put on her head nurse hat, and was caring for people, and I followed right behind her as her assistant, and together we took care of a lot of really, really ill people. However, the one thing I can tell you, that there was absolutely no writer's block that night for anyone. Nothing in their bodies was blocked. So the super, super good time was also in the 90s, and Linda used to put together and host elder hostel conferences. And for those of you who aren't familiar with them, people who are elders, such as some of us in the room, can go to mostly university campuses, but other places, and continue our lifelong learning with various topics. And her topic that year was, I can't remember the exact title, you will, but it was surrounded the Ohio River. So she had, you know, days of lectures and academia and people coming in to talk the biology and geography and history of the river and how it's affected the local communities. But Casino Astar had just come to the river, and she thought, well, you know, it'd be kind of fun to put in something sort of fun, so she asked me if I'd be a van driver, and I said, sure. So I loaded my people up, and we all drove to the casino, and at that time it actually floated on the Indiana side, it cruised. So Linda told me that she was going to be in charge of the people who chose to sit on the deck and enjoy the view. And knowing my love-hate relationship with the one-armed bandit, she put me in charge of the people that wanted to partake or watch the gambling. So knowing I do have a bit of a weakness, I put my purse in the van, I locked it, I just stuck $5 in my pocket, thinking I'd get something to eat. So I had my little group of people, and it wasn't very long before they talked me into putting my $5 into one of the red, white, and blue 777 machines. Well, my $5 turned into 20. So I moved on to another machine, and that 20 turned into 50, and it didn't matter where I went. I won, and they also used tokens at that time. So, I mean, there would be this huge crash. I mean, I just was winning, and these little people were like, none of them were gambling. They were enjoying watching me gamble. So they would grab those cartons and fill all the tokens and encourage me to move on to another machine. And they would all follow behind me, carrying their cartons. And the winning frenzy just kept going on and on. And at the end of the 2-hour cruise, they all paraded behind me to the cashier's window, and I walked away with $676. It was a good day.
Which the business office wants back.
No, so this is what I want to tell you. I banked some of that money so that I could give you some retirement gifts, which I am now going to give you. So the first gift is a 1,000,001 piece puzzle that when put together properly forms a 5-inch 2x4. Yeah.
That's sawdust.
1,000,001 pieces, I know I counted. And Linda was always the person who I went to when I needed something edited. I could walk in with a 10-page document, and an hour later I'd come out with a 1-page document. And when you have those little boxes, that you have to fill in on the grants of less than so many words, I could never do it. I would always go to Linda. So, Linda, you know that my passion has become, I love making cards. So I have created a box of very small thank you cards because I think you don't need a lot of room. I had such fun. The envelopes were off campus. So I don't ever want you to forget who you are, and I always want everybody else to know who you are too. So this is your shirt. Somewhere. #1 gadget girl. And last but not least, I do know that you and Randy plan to take Mojo and Taz with you on some camping, and I know that you were really concerned about them being comfortable in the camper. And Randy, I think you actually went out and looked at a new camper and determined that it was going to cost you $7,000 a cap in order to do that. So I think you rigged something up, but I believe I have come up with a better plan. So, roll it on down. Here we have your personalized travel carrier, Mojo and Taz. It is, it's Taz. So you can just hitch it behind your camper. And pull it along. I'm not actually, I do have an Indian gear because my grandson wants a skateboard back. And you can have all the rest. But seriously, Linda, in all the years I've known you, it didn't matter what the project or the task was, you always tackled it, and you always figured out how to do it on the fly. Our motto was learn today what you teach tomorrow, which is really true. And I know you're going to figure out this retirement gig, and I know you're going to do a really good job.
Thank you, Ginger. That's exactly what Linda needs, more stuff. Now I'd like to bring up Stephanie Russell. She's filling in for one of Linda's closest friends, another Piranha, Melissa May, who couldn't be here tonight. So let's hear what Melissa has to say, because after all, Linda, any friend of yours is obviously a poor judge of character.
I know I'm loud, but
Boy, this is a crowd, I tell you. Good evening, my name is Melissa May. Not really, I'm Stephanie Russell. So we'll make that clear. Okay, I'm unable to be here in person. Well, not her, me. I mean her. So yeah. But I cannot pass up the opportunity to say a few words about one of my dearest friends. Linda and I met on the way to Churchill Downs in 1985 or 1986. On one of the many opening day at Churchill Down trips our group of girlfriends would take. The trip evolved from driving down and back in the same day to making an entire weekend of shopping, horse racing, minimal betting, and lots of people watching. I'm sure someone else will talk about the notorious No Mirror Awards. Someone, I believe, my ex-husband, well, not my ex-husband, but her ex-husband, named us the Piranhas. Something about how the one who wasn't there got verbally eaten alive. I'm willing to ascribe that name to him, since my Piranha name was Bichelada. So we came up with the Piranha names for each of us, and Linda's was actually pretty easy. We nicknamed her Grace. According to the Urban Dictionary, one meaning of the name Grace is very artsy with an extreme amount of elegance, which you were adorned in elegance this evening. Which, although true, but not the basis for our nickname, Linda has always had the fortune or misfortune to trip, run into, or otherwise do something to end up on the ground. Falling, however, with a great degree of elegance, and somehow doing so in complete silence. On one occasion, we were sailing at Kentucky Lake, and she and I decided to walk to their newly remodeled marina. We were walking along, talking, and all of a sudden I hear this noise. Look around at my eye level. No Linda. Nope. She had walked right into one of the girders for the roof and was on the ground. That was one grace moment. Another time, we were in Fort Piranha, walking to the restaurant. Now, I've seen people fall a lot of places, but rarely do you see them walking and all of a sudden fall uphill. 1 minute she was there, the next on the ground. The last occasion I can relate involved an accomplice. I used to host a New Year's Eve party for the Piranhas and spouses at our condo in Evansville.
That's Melissa in the middle.
Our den was in the basement, down a flight of carpeted stairs. When Linda got there, she started to carry some things downstairs. The rest of us were upstairs, not knowing what was going on right below our feet. Apparently, Linda had twisted her ankle on the stairs and taken a header down onto the landing. Well, none of us heard her call, except for my chow-chow BJ. So, Linda is lying on the landing, and BJ, a very handsome hound, but not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, is looking at her. Alas, unlike Lassie, who would go to help for Timmy in the well, BJ was not able to Linda's urging to, BJ, go get help! BJ, go get help! He tilted his head a lot, and I believe licked her hand. But could not understand that he was needed to go fetch someone. But help was found, and after some physical therapy, Linda returned to her normal, graceful self. About 18 years ago, it was suggested that I leave the practice of law and apply to be a judge on the Indiana Court of Appeals. One night, Linda and I arrived early to our usual weekly meeting at the Duck Inn, and I talked about it to her. She said, I think you would make a good judge. So I took her advice, applied, and was appointed to the position. It required me to move away from Evansville, but I have never moved away from my friendship with Linda and the rest of the Piranhas. Linda, I wish you the best retirement, even, and hope that means you'll make more trips up to Indy so we can go pillage 2 shoe stores. Melissa May.
Thank you, Stephanie/Melissa. You know, they say that you can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep. It makes so much sense why you kept these people away from campus. No, seriously, Linda, you have a great group of friends. They speak so highly of you. They even said you were out of this world. Wait, I'm wrong. They said wished you were out of this world. Let's go ahead and bring up the Piranhas. Miss Madonna, Chris, and Darlene. Please give us your scoop on the real Linda, please.
Nope, not yet.
Okay, well, I have known Linda for many, many years, since the days in the early 80s when I was the secretary in the Division of Business, and its office was right across the hall from what was then called Continuing Education.
A little closer.
Okay. We hit it off right away and became the closest of friends. She didn't fall down at my wedding, but she did drink a lot of champagne. We played on a really bad softball team together called the Kitty Kent Killer Tomatoes, and that's how I met my husband. He was our coach for a couple of seasons before he gave it up and decided just getting married to me was much easier than trying to teach us how to play softball. We've shared many, many adventures and many, many good times, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them. First of all, how many of you know what a really great singer Linda is? I mean, she can do Ethel Merman and make you think it's Ethel Merman. I was witness to this in a lovely little bar in the French Quarter of New Orleans called Good Friends. On Sunday afternoon, the guys would get together around the piano for tea time, tea being Tommy, the piano player, and they would sing show tunes. Now, every year, Linda takes a road trip to New Orleans with me for the annual wine and food experience, which is why we were there. And after a champagne brunch, I talked her into going to Good Friends. Little did I know that she would become the star of tea time that day. And let me just say, the champagne brunch, a lot of champagne was consumed, so on another occasion she might not have done this, but she offered to sing with them. And she got up by the piano and she threw her arms out and at the top of her lungs sang, "No business like show business." Yeah! And the boys bought her a drink. And she said, this is kind of fun. So she sang another song, and another, and another, and another, finally ending the afternoon to much applause with Surrey with the Fringe on top. I'm sure somewhere in that bar there's probably a picture and a little shrine to Linda, but we haven't been back to check it out. I think once was enough. Also, I think all of you know about her thing for shoes. In fact, I'm wearing Linda-approved footwear. When I'm going to buy a new pair of shoes, I always run it by her first. What do you think? Do I need these? And she always says, oh, yes. And if they don't fit you, send them my way. So, before we became the Piranha, we were known as the St. Margarita of the Racetrack Society / Chapter of the Mall, which combined three of our greatest things to do: drink margaritas, go to the horse races, and shop. And it so happened that on the occasion of Linda's 40th birthday, the Breeders' Cup races were held in Louisville, Kentucky, which meant road trip and Piranha birthday party all put into one. Now, a 40th birthday requires a really, really great present. And so we put our heads together and thought, what would Linda want? Shoes. But they couldn't be just ordinary shoes. They had to be really special. And so we came up with an even better idea: bronze shoes. We would acquire an old pair of her shoes, have them bronze, mount them on a plaque, have Darlene's daughter, who is a jeweler, engrave a nice little plate and present it to her in our hotel room after cake and champagne. Well, we enlisted Randy's help. He swiped a pair of shoes out of the basket that was going to Goodwill and delivered them to my house. But alas, the cost of bronzing was prohibitively expensive. So instead, my sweet, lovely husband spray painted them gold, glued them to a plaque he could stain very nicely, and then we had the plate screwed onto it, put it in a big box, took it to Louisville with us, and after we'd had the cake and some girl talk and stuff, it was time to open the present. Well, Linda had been eyeing that big box, saying there must be something really, really good in there. And so she ripped open the wrapping paper and started to pull the present out. And her words were, "They're shoes. They're gold. They're my shoes." So here is the infamous 40th birthday card. Presented to little Imelda in honor of her 40th birthday by the St. Margarita of the Racetrack Society. So
Just
I
love
don't know
these
how we're-
shoes.
So you will have those in the memory forever. And now I'm going to hand it over to another Piranha.
Thanks, Madonna. Well, I met Linda through Madonna, and Madonna and I go back farther than anybody else. I met Madonna in 1970 when I came to the University of Evansville. She was the first townie that I met. So we've been friends quite a while. So adding Linda to the group was really, really nice. When I think of Linda, 3 words come to mind: thoughtful, caring, and whimsical. I had not known Linda very long when I was at home doing a 6-week recuperation, which when you're used to working and being busy gets boring very quickly. It was summer, and Linda just kind of knew I needed some out-of-the-house time. So she called and said, "Would you like to go to a matinee movie?" "Oh yes, get me out of the house." And after hanging up, I felt that was really thoughtful of her, especially since I live on the east side and know that West Siders only cross that bridge for really important things. And through the years, I've come to see what a truly thoughtful and caring person Linda is. And as I am sure each of you can attest to that. Which brings us to whimsical. And her mind is racing. Yes. Quiet, reserved appearing Linda. Whimsical? Oh, yes, indeed. One year, our girls' trip took us to Las Vegas. And even with all the glitz, glamour, and gambling, Linda found time to shop for shoes. Right on cue, good. Imagine that, shoes. But in Vegas, as you would expect, she found special shoes. They are red with very pointy toes. So pointy, in fact, they curl up and have a bell on the tip. Yes, they are elf shoes. And Linda bought these beautiful elf shoes and proceeded to wear them to New York for dinner. Smiling and jingling all the way down the strip. Now that takes courage. But then, whimsical Linda took it a step further with her courage and proceeded to ride the roller coaster on top of New York, with Darlene. Oh, wasn't it me? Oh, it's Madonna. I couldn't remember which.
I was her accomplice.
You're a brave person. I wouldn't go. Elf shoes ringing the whole entire way. As I'm sure you can picture it, it was quite a sight. So, to my thoughtful, caring, and whimsical, and courageous friend, I say, welcome to the I can do anything, anytime I want to world. This is a new chapters for your life, and you will love them. I wish you a wonderful retirement filled with camping with the cats, and Randy, of course. Traveling to new unexplored places, more girl trips, and maybe even a few matinees together when you need some out-of-the-house time. So congratulations to a very dear friend.
Thank you.
And my name is Darlene, another one of the Piranhas. And I was introduced in 1982 to Linda through Madonna at USI. So we go way back when USI was ISUE. so you know we are dinosaurs.
All this dirt.
Always good. Although Linda's name, Piranha name, is Grace, as you know, she's also a gadget girl. And one time I can remember we were over at the Duck Inn, and in Linda's purse, I swear she has a whole warehouse of gadgets. She wanted to show off her newly acquired one. She reached deep down into her purse and pulled out a solar-powered battery charger for her cell phone. Honestly, who has one of those? Then, Linda, as you know, likes to camp. Did you know she also likes to ride a bike? Well, we were on one of our camping trips, and we had planned to go to her mother in Virginia. They called us and canceled our trip because it was flooded. So we went to Kansas instead, but we felt like we were really missing something in Virginia. So we went back for a 4-day trip, and we decided to ride down the Creeper Trail, which is an old railroad trail that goes up the mountain. And you coast and ride your brakes down. They follow you up in your bikes and you coast down. Well, on our way down, it's a long way, and we stopped halfway to get something to eat. And as we pulled into the parking lot, we're getting off our bikes, taking our helmets off, and all of a sudden this kid comes screaming through there, slams on his brake, gravel flies, we all turn around and look, and my husband, who is 6'5", says, "Hey boy, slow down." And we all turn around and look, and this dwarf, this man turns around with a 5 o'clock shadow and looks at him. And we all went, okay. As soon as he left, Linda says, "I thought he was going to punch you around the knee." She's so quick-witted. But we all start laughing. All the way down the mountain. I could not get that picture out of my head. I started laughing, and Randy says, "We're thinking about it." Yes, I was. Then, another thing that comes to mind about her quick wit. I've got to find it here. Yes, scroll. I forgot my page at work.
She only made 4 copies.
Another camping trip. We went to Michigan. And we decided to go on a mountain bike trip. My husband and I have mountain bikes. Randy and Linda at that time had cruiser bikes. We start riding along, everything's going fine, we're staying on the beginner trail. And then somehow it started getting more difficult and more difficult. And then we heard bikes coming up behind us, so we all kind of got off the path. And Bob and I were a little bit ahead of Randy and Linda. And they came by and one of them says to Linda, "What are you doing here?" She was hanging from a tree with one arm, going in the other one, and she says to him, "Map reading deficiency?" And one more event I want to share with you about her quick wit. We used to go sailing down Kentucky Lake. We would the River Piranha and their fox. Friends, lovers of piranha. Fox. Either Linda or Madonna came up with that one. But we went sailing, and we had a great day. We were out on the water, sailing all afternoon. A little bit of wine had been drank. This is good. And a storm's coming up, so we start to pull in, and this young man comes running down to help us moor the boat. And as we're pulling in, Linda burst into song. The lumberjack song. After we were done singing it, this young man looks at all of us and says, "You guys are sick." Well, we've only done this one other time, and that was at Melissa's wedding when we sang that to her friend. So we would like to sing this for Linda one more time. And we would really like if you would all
Please join in.
with us.
And drown us out.
We have never been paid to sing. More
There's a
than
reason.
likely, we've been paid not to sing.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I cut down trees, I eat my lunch, I go to the laboratory. On Wednesdays I go shopping and have buttered scones for tea. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I cut down trees, I smoke benches. I like to make wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspenders, and a bra. I wish I were a girly, just like my dear papa. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day.
Does anybody else want to be a piranha?
The application form is only 17 pages long.
I'm going to be applying 2016 style.
From the lumberjacks on.
All right, guys. Well, we've had a lot of fun tonight at Linda's expense. Sorry, Linda. And I just want to say, Linda, I would be lost without you. You've taught me so much about love, life, and the pursuit of all things Amazon. You inspire me to be excellent, and I hope to make you proud and uphold your legacy. I wish you the best retirement has to offer. Thank you for everything. Now that I'm back on Linda's good side, let's see if she has any words in her own defense.
Thank you all very much. This is somewhat overwhelming. And most of you will not be within reach of me tomorrow, which is probably a good thing. And if I find out who came up with some of these pictures, there will be hell to pay. You know, this morning, I was putting my makeup on, and all at once it occurred to me that 464-1932 won't be my phone number anymore. And that hurt. So if I'm going to miss my phone number that much, just imagine how much I'm going to miss all of you. Now, I don't plan to get too far from campus except when we're camping with cats. So I may be around. You may want to throw me out of your office after I've been there 4 or 5 days consecutively. And I have to say, I don't know how I could have had a better life in my work. And, you know, I've been married to Randy even longer than I've been married to USI. I figure that proves I'm either very stable or very dull. I have tremendous friends. I'm so glad so many of them are here with me. And Melissa sent a lovely letter about UJ, and he drooled on me the other day. And every now and then my train of thought derails.
Drink some more wine.
Yeah, I was waving that empty glass around a while ago and nothing happened. Apparently my magical powers are fading. It's really. I appreciate so much all of you being here. And, you know, Ed Jones, when he retired, he bestowed on me a wonderful thing. Now, throughout our lives together at USI, Ed taught me lots and lots of wonderful things to know about the profession and that sort of thing. And, you know, he was a really great friend and mentor. But what he bestowed on me when he retired was a crown. Not one like this. I'm talking about red velvet. Well, to bestow it on the person who has been in O&E the longest after me. And I believe that's going to turn out to be Christine Cruz. So if the next time you see Christine, she's wearing a red velvet crown, you will know where it came from. And then, of course, Christine, you have to bestow it on the next person when you retire. Anybody want to ask me anything? That's how I spend most of my time. Thank you. Just one little glass. Seriously, anybody?
I have a question.
Okay.
Who's that very sad-looking person standing behind Ed?
That is Sylvia Weinzapple, who retired as the director of the YWCA a few years ago.
Why is she so sad? Why is she so sad?
Possibly because she had to stand next to me. Because I was so much younger.
Connie's aunt.
Connie's aunt, yes. Connie's aunt. Any other questions? Yes.
What's one of your fondest memories?
One of my fondest memories, oh Lord, I have so many. It's really hard because I have so many. I remember having a really good time planning parties and jokes and pulling them off. I think Stephanie is turning out to be my natural successor. Some wonderful times at the Rope Walk Writers Retreat with Matthew and Hummel Cummins and all those folks. And Ginger was telling the truth about the Rope Walk play. They really did. Oh man, it was ugly. And I was so glad I had Ginger here because I didn't know anything about cleaning up after people who were sick. Anything else? Yes, Ed.
And probably the late 80s, you and I were going to the Blues conference. And we sort of got misplaced and then saying on exit because we were talking about that on the way. And you did a famous impersonation as we crossed the wrong bridge. And I'm wondering if you could
Hold the wine.
Okay, so we're driving along talking.
As Ed said, we're driving along talking, and neither of us noticed that we were on the wrong road until Ed says, "We're going to cross the Red Skeleton Bridge," and I went, "Tuesday go to Easter, Tuesday go." And then we both went, "We're in Illinois." So we had to turn around and come back, and the whole rest of that trip we kept going, "Tuesday go." Yes, Madonna.
I don't have a question, just a comment. It frightens me that you people are in charge of education.
think about how much you've all learned here tonight.
Yeah, lifelong learning.
Rita will be passing out the CEU forms. Seriously, folks, I could not have worked with a better group. I love you all. I'll miss you, but not so much because I'll be back. Oh, I mean, as I say.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Stay up here, Linda. We got one more surprise for you. I'm parking it. And you are always welcome back as long as you bring chocolate. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the roast. But before we let you go, we have one last surprise for Linda. It's hard capturing everything and everyone you've known, so we put it in a book. It's all your favorite memories of all your friends. And the picture you don't remember ever taking.
Well, I honest to God don't remember having glasses that big. I do remember the blouse. Well, tan loafers would be my guess, based on what else I'm wearing. But where did I get those glasses? Well, this is lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You are now free to go. There's cake available. We're going to go ahead and cut it if anybody wants to eat it. Oh, apparently I'm going to do a toast now. Someone give me a blessing.
Hey, Stephanie. Isn't Linda supposed to do the cake with the cutter?
Oh, Linda.
Cake! There's still cake!
There's cake.
And the official Piranha cake.
I noticed that earlier. All this and cake too.
All right, before we get into that cake, let's all raise our glasses to Miss Linda L.C. Cleek. Thank you for 41 years of excellence.
Thank you all.
Eat up.
Tell me why the ivy twines. Tell me why the ocean's blue, and I will tell you that's why I love